So when you look at primitive reflexes, why don't you try to explain what is a primitive reflex and why do you think it's valuable to look at people who aren't babies to look at these reflexes and how does it translate to a high level athlete?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we see a bunch of adults that are, I guess the best word we could use is just generally speaking, immature in the sense where their brain hasn't connected with their body as well as it should have. So, for people to understand, when you're born, you have a brain, you have 600 muscles, and they basically don't speak much to each other. And when your body moves, it moves because of stimulations and there's reflexes, but movement is not volitional. And the goal over the first 2 years of life is really to get the brain to connect to the body so that you can create volitional movements and you're not so reactive to the environment. So that's in a nutshell, right? The notion of integrating primitive reflexes. The assumption from most practitioners outside of the work that you and I do is that if you're an adult and you stand upright decently well, you've by default integrated these reflexes, so there's really no purpose of working on them. So from a posturology standpoint, if I assess frontal plane and I see a tilt in the pelvis, I don't assume perfection ever exists, but an imbalance is an imbalance. And I'm thinking if we can reduce it to the maximum, then the person's going to benefit from that. I'll have the hypothesis that if I have a tilted pelvis in the frontal plane on a static evaluation, I might just have a gallant reflex that's positive.